Hey my friends, Derek from B.O.M Socks with more B.O.M Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ one bite at a time. So yesterday, as we focused on the small and simple things found in Alma chapter 37, I want to piggyback on that idea today by talking about these things. You've got the plates which Alma was passing on to his son Helaman. These things are what this chapter is all about. Now, as you're seeing, I am using the phrase these things very deliberately because the phrase these things is mentioned 10 times in this chapter. And the majority of the time it is referring to these plates right here. In fact, you get right into verse number 2. I also command you that you keep a record of this people. So Helaman is going to be the chief record keeper, according as I have done upon the plates of Nephi, to keep all these things sacred which I have kept, even as I have kept them, for it is for a wise purpose that they are kept. And as we go through this chapter, you're going to see that wise phrase about these things. Verse 3, these plates of brass which contain these engravings, which have the records of the Holy Scriptures upon them, which have a genealogy of our forefathers, even from the beginning. So you've got the records of the Old Testament. And then, behold, it has been prophesied by our fathers that they should be kept and handed down from one generation to another, to be kept and preserved by the hand of the Lord, until they shall go forth unto every nation, kindred, tongue, and people, that they shall know of the mysteries contained thereon. You know, as I think about this, I think of Moroni delivering these things to Joseph Smith and telling him basically the same things, that they need to be protected and that Joseph needs to make sure that he takes care of them, that he does not neglect them, but he makes sure that these things are taken care of. And verse 5 is just kind of a cool phrase. Behold, if they are kept, they must retain their brightness. You got to take care of these things. Yea, that they will retain their brightness. Yea, and also shall all the places which do contain that which is holy writ. You make sure that these things are taken care of, which leads up to what we talked about yesterday with that verse 6. Now you may suppose that this is foolishness in me. The word this here refers to the importance of the scriptures. You might think it's foolishness that I'm focusing so much on these scriptures, but you have no idea how these things are going to affect people for generations to come. In fact, if you were just to focus on the words these things in this chapter, and you can go through and you can just search that right there, like I said, you'll find it 10 times in this chapter, and you will see what the power is of these things, the scriptures in our lives. For example, you go to verses 8 and 9. And now it has hitherto been wisdom in God that these things should be preserved. For behold, they have enlarged the memory of this people. Scriptures have that wonderful ability to enlarge our memories. You've heard me mention many times that when you don't remember, you forget. And so what it does is it jogs your memory and helps you remember all the good things and how merciful the Lord has been to us. Yea, convinced many of the error of their ways, and brought them to a knowledge of their God unto the salvation of their souls. Yea, I say unto you, were it not for these things that these records do contain, which are on these plates, Ammon and his brethren could not have convinced so many thousands of the Lamanites of the incorrect tradition of their fathers. Yea, these records and their words brought them unto repentance. That is, they brought them to a knowledge of the Lord their God, and to rejoice in Jesus Christ their Redeemer. You've heard me mention this many times, that this started with an angel visiting Alma the younger, how Alma the elder had prayed that his son would come to a knowledge of the truth. You cannot come to a full knowledge of the truth without having the scriptures right there. So the scriptures play a prominent role in helping all people understand and gain a knowledge of the truthfulness of these things. And I love verses 10 and 11, just almost as a side note here. Who knoweth but what they will be the means of bringing many thousands of them? They've already brought thousands already, many thousands of them, yea, and also many thousands of our stiff-necked brethren, the Nephites, who are now hardening their hearts in sin and iniquities, to the knowledge of their Redeemer. Now, these mysteries are not yet fully made known unto me, therefore I shall forbear. Now that phrase is such a cool phrase. I'm a big fan of this verse, because here's Alma saying, look, I'm not afraid to say I don't know, so I'm not going to speculate. But wow, wouldn't it be cool if these scriptures could actually bring our hard-hearted brethren, the Nephites, and also bring our brethren, the Lamanites, remembering that the whole purpose of the Book of Mormon is written, the title page talks about this, for the Lamanites. Now, you and I happen to be beneficiaries of that, but this book was written to help the Lamanites come to a knowledge of the gospel. It did it then, and it's still doing that today. These things are affecting future generations. In fact, you see that phrase many times in this chapter. Verse 14, now remember, my son, that God has entrusted you with these things, which are sacred, which he has kept sacred, and also which he will keep and preserve for a wise purpose in him, that he may show forth his power unto future generations. Verses 18 and 19, for he promised unto them that he would preserve these things for a wise purpose in him, that he may show forth his power unto future generations. Now behold, one purpose hath he fulfilled, even to the restoration of many thousands of Lamanites to a knowledge of the truth. They've done that already, and he will still show forth his power in them unto future generations. Therefore, they shall be preserved. Son, you gotta take care of these plates. Therefore, verse 20, I command you, my son Helaman, that ye be diligent in fulfilling all my words, that ye be diligent in keeping the commandments of God as they are written. You take care of these plates. Alma truly understood the responsibility and the power of the scriptures in his life, but not only for him, but for the life of his family and for future generations. So it is vitally important for you and I also to take care of these things. And it's because they bring us to a knowledge of who God is and who Jesus Christ is. Several years ago, D. Todd Christofferson was speaking at a mission president's seminar, and I've always thought this is such a cool example of this. And this was kind of an overview of what Elder Christofferson had talked about in his talk. To emphasize the effectiveness of letting the Book of Mormon speak for itself, Elder Christofferson told of an interesting experiment conducted recently by Professor Jeff Sheets and some of his students at Brigham Young University. They set up a small display in each of 5 major cities in the world: London, Sydney, Chicago, Cape Town, and Las Vegas. At each display, they asked passersby to read one page from the Book of Mormon and mark every reference to God or Jesus Christ they found on that page. Each participant received a different page to read, and with 531 participants, each of the printed pages of the book was used. Those who were willing had their picture taken and posted on a display with the particular page that they had marked, Elder Christofferson explained. Many also shared comments. They felt the power of the Book of Mormon just in that simple, brief encounter. There's a cool video that goes along with this that you can watch as well. After the video, Elder Christofferson remarked, given then that the power of the Book of Mormon comes as we allow the book to speak for itself, the question for you is, and again, he's speaking to mission presidents, how will your missionaries get people to read the Book of Mormon and also to pray with real intent about its truthfulness? You might draw something from the experiment of marking a page or pages from the Book of Mormon that we just saw in this video. I am not suggesting that you do the same thing, but there may be a kernel of an idea that would work in your mission. So one thing you could do as an individual, or you could do this as a family, you could pick a number between 1 and 531, or if you have digital scriptures, you can just pick a chapter on your own, and you can just go to that page or that chapter and find references to God and Jesus Christ. How could these things be of great worth to you and to future generations as you remember them? You know, the Book of Mormon is for our day. Like I said before, it was not for the Nephites. It was written specifically for the Lamanites, and you and I have been beneficiaries of that. And so we've got to make sure that we take care of them, which leads us all the way down to the last verse in this chapter. Now, my son, see that you take care of these sacred things. I like how he kind of threw that in there. Yea, see that you look to God and live. Go unto this people, declare my word and be sober. My son, farewell. You know, I am very grateful for the Book of Mormon. I am grateful for these things that are taught in here and how it's helped me gain a greater knowledge of who God is, who Jesus Christ is, and it's helped me remember the important things in my life. I am grateful for it, and I know that these things are true. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing these messages. We're so grateful that you do that. As always, if you like what you see, click the like button, share this with other people. And you got to go check out our amazingly comfortable gospel-themed socks at BOM-BITES.com. Godspeed. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.